So I'm just going to put together a bunch of random facts. I'm going to lay them side by side and paint a picture, and it'll be up to you to do the math and see if 1 plus 1 equals 2 or if 1 plus 1 equals 11. The choice is up to you on how to view all these things. That said, let's begin. This is a common household microwave oven. They operate at the frequencies of 2.4 gigahertz. That's 2.4 Gs. And this is aluminum foil to be exact. And this is what happens when you put aluminum in a microwave oven.
After placing the tin foil in the microwave, we set the microwave for 20 seconds and start it up. As you can see, the tin foil will immediately start arcing and emanating a blue glow. Why do you think this occurs? Because the tin foil is metal and conducts electricity, the metal immediately begins to have a current when the microwave starts.
This is the fact. Verify it at your own risk, though. I can't stress that enough. I am not responsible if you burn your place down. So what are we looking at here? Some say it's chemtrails, condensed water vapor that form as a result of jet engines combusting in high altitudes. Some say these are chemtrails, a man-made chemical concoction deliberately sprayed in our skies for us to ingest and to black out the sun. Let's ask around.
Pilots, we're going to come and visit you. We're going to find out where you fucking live, and we're going to fucking end you. We're going to fucking end you, cunts. You're trying to kill our children with barium, aluminium, graphene oxide, graphite ferrous oxide. Fucking murdering cunts. We're going to fucking end you. We're going to find out where you live and burn your fucking houses down. And that is a threat. You fucking cunts. Yeah? Hopefully all this shit that's being sprayed will kill all the fucking paedophiles. Yeah? And all you murdering fucking bastards in London. 'Cause you stupid Masonic fucking cunts. All this shit is being rained down on you as well. Look at that. Seems as though nobody else has got the fucking minerals to say it online. And that is a threat, you fucking knobheads. Look at it. It's geoengineering. Yeah, and I am pissed off with you cunts. You are fucking trolls. Putting out false information. And BBC, the mainstream media, we're coming after every single one of you lying pieces of shit. 2024 is the year that we...
Alright, so here's the thing about chemtrails. So in training, we're not really taught too much about it, but we are told, and it happens every flight, there is a button. There's a button right next to a light, and when that light goes red, you have about 30 seconds. You have to hit the button, and then as long as it stays red, you keep the button pushed in, and then when the light goes out, then you hit the button again, it pops out. That's all we know. We don't know exactly what's going on. We're not doing this on purpose, but if we don't press the button, our pay gets docked about 50% an hour for that flight. So I don't think we would go to jail. You know, it's part of company policy. We're just following what our employer is telling us to do. And every airline does this. Every commercial jet does this. And if you're still watching, thanks for watching, but this is all BS. It's not chemtrails, it's contrails. Look it up. We are not spraying you with anything, all right? Take a hike.
If it's a contrail, it's supposed to be condensed water from the engine at a high altitude. So what's this? These two things are the engines. The trail is coming from the tail. Now remember, contrails, by their own definition, is condensed water vapor coming from the airplane's exhausts, from the engine. This is not the engine. This is the very back of the airplane. Also, contrails are a high-altitude phenomena. This plane hasn't left the ground yet.
We are not spraying you with anything, all right?
Yet another airplane with contrails, coming out the back of it where the engines aren't. But that couldn't be what we're seeing, right? You know, because...
We are not spraying you with anything, all right?
Okay, then how about this? How many airliners do you know emitting naturally occurring contrails, but does loop-de-loops around your neighborhood?
We are not spraying you with anything, all right?
Okay, well, there's something coming out of those airplanes. What is it? Let's ask around.
Alexa, what's been sprayed in our skies?
Nanoplastics, aluminum, and barium are currently being sprayed into our skies. These substances are believed to be part of a global climate engineering program aimed at cooling down the Earth's temperature. However, there are concerns about the potential environmental impacts of these substances.
Hey Alexa, what are they spraying into our skies?
Nanoplastics, aluminum, and barium are currently being sprayed into our skies. These substances are believed to be part of a global climate engineering program aimed at cooling down the Earth's temperature. However, there are concerns about the potential environmental impacts of these substances.
Alexa, what are they spraying in our skies?
Nanoplastics, aluminum, and barium are currently being sprayed into our skies. These substances are believed to be part of a global climate engineering program aimed at cooling down the Earth's temperature. However, there are concerns about the potential environmental impacts of these substances.
Their plants. You can see scattered showers still showing up on the Pacific Northwest radar throughout the region. The heaviest, of course, well to our north. Here in Southern Oregon and Northern California, we've got a bit of an unusual situation. Now, this first portion of the radar cycle, fairly bland and typical, but then you see these bands of very distinct cloud cover moving into the region. That is not rain, that is not snow, believe it or not. Military aircraft flying through the region dropping chaff. Small bits of aluminum, sometimes it's made of plastic or even metallicized paper products, but it's used as an anti-radar issue, and obviously they're up there practicing. Now, they won't confirm that, but I was in the Marine Corps for many years, and I'll tell you right now, that's what it is. Now, they won't confirm that, but I was in the Marine Corps for many years, and I'll tell you right now, that's what it is.
This chemical spray must come down. It has to.
We are not spraying you with anything, all right?
Yes, they are. But where does it go?
Magnetic. That's not pollen. Pollen isn't magnetic. Ain't no conspiracy right there.
Well, yeah, it falls everywhere. It also goes here. That light, heavy metal dust. Into your lungs. That's where it collects. And your body can't process it, so that's where it stays. So let's put this all together. They are spraying something that turns into clouds. That's a fact. Now, Alexa, hundreds of scientists and thousands of civilians who's collected the rainwater all agree that these particles that are coming down have aluminum in them. And if you're breathing like everybody else, then you have aluminum in you. All those aluminum nanoparticle specks just hanging out in your lungs. But not just in your lungs, also in the lungs of every other breathing animal. Remember that for later. Now, if this plus this gives you this, then what does this aluminum dust collected in the lungs plus this, the 5G frequency that was introduced around 2019, what do those two things give you? And just as important, what else was introduced at the end of 2019? I'm going to do that equation again, but this time I'm going to lay it out side by side, and then I'm going to give the only logical answer. If this plus this equals this, then what does this plus this equal? Logically, it equals this. Now, that kind of external radiation-induced response can't be good for the biological system. This is an acute form of radiation poisoning affecting the sinuses and the lung cavities. So what would the body's reaction to this stimuli be? This is 2.4 gigahertz of radiation interacting with a fist-sized chunk of aluminum. And here we have aluminum dust, which can be seen by the naked eye. But this is not it. What they're spraying in the sky are nanoparticle aluminum. This you cannot see with the naked eye. This you can only see with a microscope, which makes it possible for it to stay in the sky longer before it settles down to Earth, like on that guy's car. 1 grain of nanoparticle aluminum is many, many times smaller than 1 grain of the dust you see here. To understand how small nano is, let's use a grain of sand, for example. On the left would be representation of what a grain of sand would be like. On the right is a nanoparticle of that grain of sand. Now understand that whether you can see it with the limitations of your eyes or not, radiation interacts with everything. It interacts with human beings and animals. It interacts with all forms of plant life. It interacts with all metal. It interacts with everything. So, this is a 5G saturated atmosphere, and this is you. These are your lungs. And these are nanoparticle heavy metals floating around in your lungs. And this is 5G radiation interacting with those nanoparticle metals floating around in your lungs. This is what happens on a microscopic level, internally. These tiny explosions in the delicate tissues of the lungs, what do you think the symptoms to the body would be? Clearly, it's going to cause inflammation. Now let's compare the symptoms of this radiation poisoning to the symptoms of that mystery thing that happened at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. Pause the video a few times to read and compare them. Inflamed lungs, shortness of breath. 2020 mystery thing, shortness of breath. A swollen tongue can be a symptom of oral mucositis, a painful inflammation of the mucous membranes in the mouth caused by radiation therapy. 2020 mystery thing, swollen tongue. Does radiation poisoning cause you to cough up blood? Yes. And so does the 2020 mystery thing. Loss of taste and smell can be a side effect of radiation poisoning, as well as from the 2020 mystery thing. Common side effects from radiation therapy. You may start losing your hair, just like the 2020 mystery thing. You know, one could easily argue that what's been making people sick all this time is simply radiation poisoning. And if it is, why this? Why do something so invasive? And what should be even more concerning is, why this? And what's in it? Why those two crazy things when it seems that's all that's needed for people to get sick is for them to turn up the proverbial dial. And when the metals in the body interact with the radiation, you get Mystery Thing 2020. Part 2, explaining these two things. Coming soon.